What's up, YouTube family? What if I were to tell you that you can no longer get parts for the car that you're driving? What would you do? Would you buy a new car? Would you try to keep this one alive with duct tape and zip ties? That is a question we're going to answer today because a lot of major parts manufacturers are actually closing their doors and no longer making parts. And quite a few cars you can no longer get parts for. So today we're going to talk about what's currently going on in the market, how this is going to be getting worse over the next year or two, and it's almost like they're forcing us to buy new cars. Now, if you're new to my channel, I've talked about the right to repair for quite some time. Basically, it's dealers and manufacturers forcing people to bring their cars into the dealership to buy only parts from them and to get your car's serviced there. They won't sell you the parts and they won't tell you how to fix your car. Now, technically, this is illegal and a lot of people are still fighting it in court, but because of this, a lot of people started going out and buying more affordable, cheaper, older cars. And you could start to see this trend. I've had friends literally sell their 2023 Tacomas and go out and buy a 2005 completely restored from the ground up. And not only did they save money because it was cheaper, but more than likely it's probably going to last longer. And those are just a few examples. There's people all across the United States that are doing this because of cheaper insurance. And like I said, some of the older cars are more reliable than their newer counterparts. But unfortunately, a few things have happened in the market where now it's getting even harder to get parts. So parts manufacturing started to unravel back in 2020. When the pandemic basically shut the world down, parts manufacturers were stuck with hundreds of thousands of parts that they were building. And the way it works is as they build them, they would take orders from like AutoZone, O'Reilly's, your local dealership, and then they would send those parts out there and get paid. Well, when the world shut down, all the parts manufacturers like, well, now we're good, we don't need anything. These companies are now stuck with hundreds of thousands of parts and millions of dollars of inventory that they can't do anything with. So now what happens? Part manufacturers from all across the world started filing bankruptcy, shutting down, closing their doors forever. So that was the first wave. Now, once things started opening up, guess what? Sales started spiking, people started fixing cars, and all the parts manufacturers basically focused on what parts were most important to get out during that time. And it was absolutely insane. And it took about 2 to 3 years for the supply chain to finally catch up to where it is today. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because a major company called First Brands just filed bankruptcy. Well, filed bankruptcy a while ago, but they're starting to sell off some of their assets and close some of their factories. They own major companies, I believe it was Autolite, Trexel, and a few other ones that make everything from spark plugs, alternators, power steering pumps, things of that nature. And not only that, but there's a handful of companies back east in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, I believe Georgia, and a few other spots that also closed their doors over the last 6 months. So we're talking about 20% of the auto parts manufacturing here in the United States gone. Now, you can really feel it when you start to go to the parts store. If you're wondering why parts are getting more expensive or you don't have the selection, that's why. Just a few quick examples. I was working on a Ford Fusion. We were trying to get a power steering pump. And when we went in there, we're like, hey, we need a power steering pump. Usually they'll give you, hey, this is like our cheapest option. This is the Remand. This is a new Remand or better tier Remand. This one costs this much. And then the higher end tier, this is brand new. Well, when I went into AutoZone, they only had one. O'Reilly's, one. Napa, one. And all three of these companies, none of them had it in stock. I had to order it to get it from their actual warehouse or their hub. So that really kind of shocked me. Another one that really scared me was the older Toyotas. Now, everybody knows these older Toyotas just don't die, so people keep these things alive. And one of my guys had one that he was restoring, and he wanted to get a cap, rotors, I think a water pump gasket, and a few other things. And we were shocked that they had no cap and rotor in stock. We had to order it, so it took a day or two. But some of the gaskets he ordered are no longer being made. So I never thought I would ever see a day where an older Toyota truck would not have parts available. And so we're starting to see this happen more and more with parts manufacturing. So it's almost like they're forcing us to go out and buy brand new cars. So unfortunately, we had to get online, look at eBay, a few online part manufacturers, and we're able to get these parts. But remember, this supply is just what's out there now. Depending on which company is making what parts, you're going to see less of those coming available. And little by little, as that supply starts to disappear, don't be surprised when auto parts prices start to skyrocket because of availability. I mean, I remember buying stuff for my smart cars. Believe it or not, there's not a lot of manufacturers that make smart car parts. And so I'm paying a little bit more every single month because it's harder and harder to find. So a perfect example of this is back in 2008 when the Great Recession hit. If you owned a Saturn, an Oldsmobile, or a Saab, you were absolutely screwed. All the parts manufacturers basically went bankrupt. They shut down. And even today, if you have like a Saturn Sky and you get into a small fender bender and you need like a headlight or a bumper or something like that, nobody makes it. Unless your car shares parts with another platform, you are absolutely screwed. I've bought tons of really nice Oldsmobiles with low miles, super clean, some of these Saturns, even some of these Saabs, and unfortunately, you can't get parts for them anymore. You have to go to the junkyard. We're almost getting back to the days where, almost like your dad and your granddad, when they would buy a car that they would fix and they would buy a second one just for parts. So don't be surprised that in the next few years, all the cars that you think are bulletproof that you want to keep and drive forever, you can't get parts for. Now, I was just talking last month about buying a short bed Silverado that I can kind of restore and build up, make an all-wheel drive, supercharged V8, fun thing, 2001. And now I'm kind of worried because Chevy is a very popular platform. There's tons of these things around, but how long am I going to be able to get parts? Now, I think that's a very popular platform, so I think I'll be safe. But some of the other cars, like my older MR2, my RX-7, a few of the other cars that I wanted to build, now I'm starting to rethink about this. Like, should I even get this? Because who knows how long I'm going to get parts for? And if I have any issues, what am I going to do? Now, I have made manufactured parts back in the day. If anybody's ever fixed or restored a 62 to 67 Lincoln Continental, there are no parts for it. I had to rebuild the window switches by hand. I had to fix everything, clean the brass connectors, all that stuff, because you can't buy those window switches. And don't be surprised that in 5 years from now, we may have to do that with just regular basic cars that you're driving today. So normally I would tell people, hey, buy an old car, save your money, and see what you can get. But now what I would tell people is before you buy a car, start looking online to see what type of parts availability are there. Because if you buy one of these cars, especially something that's kind of rare, unique, or there's not a lot of them around, you may run into major issues in the next few months of getting parts. Now, unfortunately, a lot of these companies were backed by private equity, and because of this, they got into debt. And so now these part manufacturers are running at a deficit because they're not selling as many parts because things are slowing down, and they have these massive amounts of chunks of debt that the private equity threw on top of them. So we're going to see more of these manufacturers go bankrupt over the next few months. So it's going to be fairly interesting to see exactly what's going to happen with the parts manufacturing if these companies continue to go out of business over the next 18 months. Now, if you were hit today with the bad news that you can no longer get parts for your car, what would you do? Would you try to keep it alive? Would you sell it before it broke down and get something newer? Or would you break down and get a brand new car? I would love to know your opinion in the comment section below. Unfortunately, I don't like any of the new cars that came out. It's kind of sad. This is the first time in my life where I wasn't excited about seeing a new car. Every new car looks the same bullshit features, nothing really special, no soulless, no uniqueness. And I've noticed in the automotive community, everybody's so excited about older cars. Like, I'm excited about building the stuff that's in my backyard. I have no desire to go out and get the newest, like Lamborghini. Those things have been out. Nobody cares. If you've seen a lot of YouTubers, nobody's buying them because everybody wants the older ones that make the noises, all the fun sounds. Everything is just too technologically advanced. It's dealer only. You can't even fix your own car. If you want to tune it, the whole car will brick itself. It's absolutely stupid. It's getting to the point now where you're almost going to be forced to either buy a brand new car or you're just going to be leasing a car for eternity because you'll never own it, but you'll still be making payments. But let me know in the comment section below. Also, make sure you sign up for Auto Auction Pass. We're going to go live next month. The link's down in the description below. So if you want to buy cars from Copart, IAA, GSA, and a few other tow yard auctions with a no sign-up fee and a flat fee when it comes to buying, definitely sign up and do that without no dealer's license. And we'll see you next time.